Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for lending me those ears. Today, I want to talk about maybe something you're not taking advantage of. Ooh, I'm going to highlight this for you. I'm going to talk about the post-meeting meeting. That's right, post-meeting meeting. I want you to pretend for a moment you're talking to a client. You're talking to a client and you're having great discussions. You got 4 or 5 people on the call. Let's say it's a Zoom call, Skype, whatever you're using, right? And you're having a great conversation. And as the meeting wraps up, you're going to do a summary. Here's what we talked about. Here's some of the action items. Here's some of the next steps. And you'll say something like this. So you'll have our initial proposal next week. And then let's say the person who's running the meeting, your potential client, your prospect, is still on the call. You want to say something like this. Jill, Jane, Joe, Juan, say, before you go, do you have a few minutes to chat? Before you go, do you have a few minutes to chat? What do you think that person is going to say? They're going to say, of course. They'll say, yeah. So what you're going to do is you're going to thank everybody for the meeting. And you're going to say, again, John, do you mind hanging on for just a few more minutes? I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Or I just want to chat with you for a few minutes if you don't mind. See, this is the post-meeting meeting. And now this is your time. This is your time. Now I want you to imagine everybody's left the meeting, right? And it's just you and the prospect. This is your time to create some personal rapport and trust. And the first step would be to, ask them about the meeting. Ask them how it went. How do you think the meeting went? Are there any questions or concerns? That would be step number 2. How did the meeting go? How do you think it went? Let them talk. Are there any questions or concerns, questions you might have, or maybe concerns, things we didn't answer that we should have included in the presentation? And then here's the power move. Towards the end of the conversation, shift to personal. Get off business, shift to personal. And just ask them, just in general, how are you doing, by the way? You thank them for the meeting. Well, thank you for the feedback on the questions and the concerns. And how are you doing personally? How's your business going? How are you liking your job today? What are you finding different in the environment? What's new with you? And again, you're not trying to get into their personal business, but you want to let them know that you care about them, that it's not just about business. Now, you could do this at the beginning of the meeting, but there's something powerful about doing it at the end of the meeting, the post-meeting meeting. But then, first of all, getting business out of the way. How did the meeting go? Any comments or feedback? Then, are there any questions you have that weren't answered during the meeting? Yes, no, whatever it may be, the conversation happens. And then, are there any concerns, just to make sure, we answered all your questions or any minor concerns correctly? Talk about that. And then, right before you hang up, shift to a very personal tone. This lets the client know that you care about them as well. We love your business, want to have your business, but we also want to have a relationship. I want to have a relationship with you. Try this simple post-meeting meeting strategy, and I would love to hear your feedback. I really would, because I think this move is so good and so subtle, and nobody's really using it, that if you begin to use it before everybody figures it out, you're going to be able to leverage that rapport building, that trust, that relationship that's going to close your deal that much faster. And that's it for the Sales Influence Podcast. Short and sweet. Leave me some feedback on Apple, Stitcher. We're now on Pandora, Spotify, we're everywhere. Leave me some feedback. Love to hear your take. Also on YouTube, by the way. And if you haven't checked out the Sales Velocity Academy, go to salesvelocityacademy.com. If you want to sell more faster and you love these tips, check that out. And on that note, this is Victor Antonio, always reminding you that selling ain't hard in the post-meeting meeting when you know how to do it, and answer the question and let them know that you care about them and their business. Take care. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.